SoFi is in a massive spot, guys. Since breaking out of this cup and handle structure, which we did learn on the channel, we have broken out from 1350, pushing to 2274, till breaking this ascending trend line, which we did anticipate within our last week's update. Dropping from here, now it does appear with multiple touch points. We're forming a very textbook pennant structure to perhaps get that technical squeeze to push us to our final price target, being at that $24 to $25 level, guys. My name is Dylan from Dylan's Trades. We're going to break straight into this technical analysis breakdown, being completely unbiased. First, moving over to the weekly for a broad bird's eye perspective. On the weekly analysis, guys, there's not really too much we want to go over, as we have been following. If you guys have been following the channel, this very obvious cup was negative downtrend, forming into a consolidation phase. Buyers win within this descending triangle, pushing stock price up, forming this cup-like structure. And then we lead out into this very beautiful handle, guys, where stock price goes sideways, the buyers and sellers battle. If broken above this descending channel, we have a massive breakout. Sometimes take longer than others, but we have seen a very quick squeeze out of this cup and handle. And as of now, guys, we are targeting these IPO highs. Once again, I have to keep an eye on this from a very broad perspective, as from the weekly perspective, guys, there is no resistance. And we've mentioned this from these lower levels being 1850. Once broken above this high over here, guys, there is nothing stopping us from this high until we reach these IPO highs. Stock price opened up on SoFi, and for about a year, we went from these lower levels around 13, 14 bucks, and we got jammed out at this $24 to $25 range. We come right back down to the floor, to the ceiling. And we did this multiple times, being a very established range. So we're retesting, we're looking to retest that level on the weekly perspective, and that is our long-term price target. So now establishing that there is no resistance, right, on SoFi until that level, we have a very good understanding of where we're at. We're at a parabolic squeeze out of this cup and handle structure, targeting these upper levels, which we're not too far from. So currently we have seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green weeks in a row, which lets you know that obviously the momentum is high. You're seeing a lot of buying momentum. They're continually buying every single week, pushing stock price higher. And now we've seen a red candle, and this is in a contender for a green to red reversal, where the momentum kind of dies down, and then you break below this low and then crush down. But I do think within this context, guys, a lot of stocks within the stock market, Hood, Palantir, SoFi, they're all setting up within this first red candle in the weekly. But I think this is the spot, guys, just through the context that we actually break above this or we enter more consolidation. So despite seeing momentum has kind of gauged down a little bit and starting to die down, I think we're setting up for either A, a break over these highs and a parabolic run to push your price target, or B, more consolidation. Maybe one more week of a not really much going on, just a thin price action sitting there until the next week breakout, maybe 2 more weeks. So on the weekly analysis, guys, we do believe that we're looking at consolidation that's about to occur or an outright breakout over these candle wicks and bodies highs. So we got a level we see on the weekly analysis. We don't want to look too much into this, as we do get most of our meat potatoes on the daily and hourly. But on the weekly, we should be expecting, once again, to break and retest, right? Break over these highs and retest it $25 to $24 IPO range high, which is so prevalent in the past, guys. It's the only next logical level to watch. We have set that price target when we did break over these highs at 1840. Flipping over to the daily analysis, guys, from a very, very short-term perspective, moving into Monday, you could argue that we do look a little bit bearish here, as, you know, we were trying to squeeze over this 21-24 level, as we did mention, holding over it for one day before kind of just reverting. We found resistance at this upper level, which we mentioned in the last video. Watch $22 to $22.16 for the official breakout to push 25. We ended up touching that $22 level before completely rejecting. So as of now, on the weekly, on the daily analysis start, you know, we're seeing a little bit of downside where maybe we could see a pullback Monday, but I think from a broad perspective, from an experienced eye perspective, we're seeing one. Oh, let's drag this out a little bit, guys. We're seeing one wick right at this level. We're seeing another wick over here. We're seeing another wick over here. If we press this up a little bit, guys, we're seeing a textbook pennant structure being formed out. And this can form out in a couple different variety of ways. We can move these trend lines slightly, but as of now, we've seen a very sharp movement by the bulls, establishing a very exciting price action before the buyers and the sellers exit this ascending parabolic phase into a consolidation, where we form these lower highs into these higher lows, lower highs into these higher lows. And we can bobulate before getting to the end where this is the apex where something has to happen, which can lead to the next movement. As of now, I do think we're very young within this pennant structure. And I do believe we're going to continue to play out within this, guys, centering back to the weekly. On the weekly, it does appear we can either see consolidation or an outright breakout. Looking at the daily, guys, piecing these pieces together, it does appear, once again, with these touch points, that we're forming some reminiscence of a pennant structure, a sharp movement up by the bulls, right, into a bull flag-like structure, into this sideways-like price action, where we can bobulate from the highs to the lows, highs to the lows, highs to the lows. So eventually, breaking out somewhere around this duration, pushing us almost, 70% of the time to these upper levels. There is a chance we do break down from the structure, but it is pretty rare, as the bulls have initiated this very tight bull flag. So as of now, this is what you want to see, guys, right? We mentioned that, hey, when we drop from the ascending trend line in the last video, it's very, very clear ascending trend line we've been keeping an eye on, right? There's a good chance we form some sort of a bull flag, and that's exactly what we're doing. So that was a good read. And to see stock price hold on this very tight and port ascending trend line, which you've clearly seen over the last few weeks, moving from these 1450 levels to highs 2274, right? We're holding it very, very bullish. We're holding it, and then we fall off. This is a spot where you can kind of fall off a cliff a little bit. And we did momentarily kind of see that within a short-term perspective, pushing from 2274 to our $20 level. We do marked up for completely flipping bullish, which does look nice. But, as of now, we fell off this cliff and we immediately bounced. And now we're looking to form some sort of a pennant structure where we have these tight parameters that we have to watch. So as of now, our bias, guys, is 100% bullish. We expect this structure to formulate into a tight structure to break out. But as of now, we got to sit back on our hands and let stock price simmer. This is a very good quote, guys. Sit on your hands. The best shaders know when to sit back and to let things marinate. So personally for me, guys, I think we are very prone to consolidation, just being in the structure, right? We can have this structure form out a little bit differently. It's always in contention if we see new data points. But as of now, we're seeing this very clear trend lines and touch points formulate into this nice lower high and higher low trend where we're combobulating into a ultimate breakout likely, or a low chance a breakdown to test 20 bucks again. So on the daily analysis, guys, we expect over the next week just some chop, not very exciting. I think this is a spot where it's not a buying opportunity, but it's not a selling opportunity. I think we sit back. I think we're very much neutral within these stance. Ultimately, looking in the future, a week or two, we should be flipping bullish, but seeing this rejection at the top of this channel within this rough approximate location, you do got to believe, guys, we are forming into this structure, and we are about halfway. So we have at most maybe about a week and a half to consolidate until the apex. On the hourly analysis, guys, first and foremost, we do see a little bit of a micro cup handle, a sharp movement down the bull, step it back up until exiting this upward trajectory, entering a tight channel. See how it's a cup and a handle. So from a very short-term perspective, guys, if we get a clean break over 2155, we likely retest the top of this pennant structure and likely reject, guys. I would say we reject and find another touch point to formulate this structure to be more concrete, till likely retesting and bouncing around. So that is first and foremost from a micro analysis perspective. But on the hourly, guys, we just get a very nice perspective of this pennant structure. And, we're really just set right in the middle of this structure. I mean, we're right in the middle. So we really have a lot of room to just chop around. And, as much as it's not exciting to say, it's not, do I want to come on here and say we're going to chop around for a week knowing that most of you guys are bullish or holding the stock? Probably not, right? But it is what it is. We're in this spot where, the momentum is definitely strong, guys. Once again, we broke from this ascending trend line. We mentioned over here, we don't like how we're retesting the zone and immediately got shot down over here. And we got shot down over here. We just didn't like these early signs, leading us to believe we can drop from this ascending channel. We did drop this, immediately bounced from 20 bucks, and now we're back within this zone. So I think, once again, anywhere within the middle of the zone, we're prone to go up, to go down, to go up, to go down, to go up, to go down. So this is where context comes into play. All right, we could overanalyze this micro perspective and say, oh, we have an hourly bull flag, we have a cup and handle, and this is true, guys. Maybe there is a chance when you break over, once again over that 2150, this level strong, and we break out. If we break over 2216, we should be pushing $24, $25. But as of now, the technical indication are showing that we will enter a dull moment here and get pretty thin. So that is what the hourly technical analysis is showing us. If we pull up the Bollinger Bands, we're getting very, very tight, guys. I suspect this to be a little bit more, not quite as tight here, but you see how, wherever we get this tight, something is brewing, and that really has been the trend. Whenever we push outside over the top of this Bollinger Band, that's likely a sign that we're overextended. We need to pull back. Likely a sign we're overextended. We need to pull back. Likely, etc., etc. So now we're daggone right in the middle, guys. This is the spot. Once again, wouldn't be shocked to see this area be filled out until we eventually have a pretty nice setup, guys, where if we get to the end of the structure, this can be a really good trading opportunity. So as of now, from the weekly perspective, guys, on SoFi Technologies, we're seeing a very explosive breakout within this cup and handle. We've been following since the $13 levels. We're very parabolic. Despite seeing a red candle form, we like this wick on the bottom defending that $20 level. We are led to believe this is going to lead us to a quick breakout, or more likely a consolidation week or two. Another one of these two candles which we've seen, right? Kind of just chopping around. Flipping over to the daily analysis, guys. We see on the daily that, we have fallen from this ascending trend line, which we did call prematurely on this red candle on top. We retested 20 bucks just like we suspected, and now it does appear we're formulating within some remnants of this pennant structure. As the days transpire, we'll be able to track this more closely to get the exact structure. We're very young within this movement as of now. Flipping over to the hourly, we do this, micro analysis setup where this could give us the juice, guys, to go and retest the top of this range and this resistance at 2216 and get the breakout. I don't think it's very likely though. Seeing these kind of setups a lot, I think this is likely to give us the juice to squeeze if we push over to retest top of the zone, reject, and then formulate more into this. So as of now, from every single analysis, guys, you are led to believe that, we can see some micro pips up come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, moves up, down, but more or less, we're just going to formulate once again into this pennant-like structure, perhaps a bull flag, but as of now, it is appearing to be the higher low and lower high trend. We formulate within it until we get to the end and break out to our price target of our $24, $25 level, being at these IPO range highs, guys. If you found any value within the video today, consider dropping a sub, guys. We do go over SoFi about 1 to 2 times per week. This is a very parabolic stock. When we initially covered it, we were building energy for the next movement, and now we're just skyrocketing, guys. We're in a massive spot. So SoFi is a lot more sensitive to up and down price action activity, just seeing how parabolic we are. With that being said, guys, hope you guys had a good day, man. Take care, trade smart, and